Okay, let's start. We'll get to Coop. I promise you.
Okay.
Let's go to Sheldon Keefe for our first Kyper's Clipper on what he saw out of last night.
Well, I think they can just take away the fact, they can feel our group really coming together here over the last couple of weeks. We put in a lot of really good efforts. But these last two in particular, these are tough games mentally, for the group. Just to, you're at the stage of the season and the schedule where you can just kind of ride it out and sort of mail it in and press on. I thought last night, we go into Florida against a desperate team that has an opportunity to clinch a playoff spot, and we don't let them do that on our watch. And then we come in here on a back-to-back and a short lineup and all these kind of things, and guys find a way to win the game, and not just win the game, but I thought we worked and competed hard tonight. Guys are blocking shots, and we had to get big minutes out of guys today on the second game back-to-back on the road. So that's what I take away from the game. It's just the character of our group is really strong, and the togetherness of the group in terms of just rallying around whatever the situation is and giving us all they have to whatever we're asking from them at this point.
So he thought their guys laid it on the line.
I completely agree with that. I thought it was just encouraging to see how hard the Leafs played in a meaningless game. Why not meaningless? It's not. Stop saying it's not meaningless. If you're playing a team you're about to play in a week,
you're right.
With
that comes
everything,
with That's a really good catch.
With everything on the line.
Yeah.
It's not a meaningless game. But I just love that the Leafs rose to the occasion in terms of the intensity and trying their bags off.
Mm-hmm.
And the guys that are kind of leading the charge in many ways since the trade deadline are the new additions. Again,
Jake McCabe is pivotal for them now.
I just look at for me the Luke Shannon. Again, Luke's is in that wheelhouse of 10 to 12 minutes, but they're noticeable 12 minutes.
He was 15 last night.
I think the fight with Maroon in so many ways just sends a different vibe and a different message starting next week.
Yeah.
And going in hard against them. The one thing that I love about Luke is when he goes in there, he's trying to hurt you. He's not trying to separate you from the puck.
Yeah.
He's trying to hurt you.
He would like you to think next time I would like to not get hit again. So you just take the puck, or I'm going to change, or we're going to do something different next time.
So if years past, if some Montreal Canadiens or some Columbus Blue Jackets or Tampa last season, if you got a handful of guys that go in with that attitude, you need more of them this year.
Mm-hmm.
And they went and found Luke Shen. They found Achari. They found Lafferty. Those guys, when they go in there, they're trying to hurt you.
Mm-hmm.
Achari's the same thing.
Juice, huh?
It's all about the juice.
You mentioned to me that was incredibly meaningful. I really agree with you, Kyper, that he was such a pain in the ass to the Leafs for 7 games last year, where he was just under their skin. He was effective. He wasn't playing much, but he was just pushing all the right buttons. And you have Luke Shen go out there, bury him into the end boards, fight him, beat the crap out of him, and knock him out of the game, and he's just not a factor anymore. It's that's meaningful. I don't think
Maroon got to throw a punch.
It's meaningful, man.
And
matters.
But
okay. And it is also like what the Leafs were able to do last night was take a piece of skin off of Tampa Bay.
Mm-hmm.
They took a layer off of them. And that's what it's going to take over 7 games, is to continue to kind of hammer and hammer and hammer. That's how you win playoff series. Yeah, the skill, and yes, specialty teams and great goaltending, but it's the constant wear and tear off a team. And I saw that last night. We're in game 81, and the Leafs took a strip off of Tampa Bay. I'm watching last night Shen against Maroon, and then I'm watching even Tavares. I don't know if you saw that kind of subtle battle along the wall with Corey Perry, and the next thing you know, Perry's hunched over. The last thing you want
Did Bunting fight, by the way?
We'll get into that too.
Okay.
But the last thing you want to see is a guy like Corey Perry with the mileage that he's had, hunched over on the bench, and the playoffs haven't even started yet. But that's the start of wearing teams down. Do the Leafs have the ability now to be a little younger, more energetic, play a little heavier than Tampa in this series. Last night probably showed us that, yeah, the potential's there.
Well, what I'm curious to see is I liked that the Leafs showed last night that they can do it. They can hang with a Shen grabs Maroon, like I like that they showed that they can do that. I am curious to know if going into this playoff series, that's Tampa's game. I'm curious to know if Toronto has demonstrated they can do it, but then will revert back to doing what they do that has brought them so much success, outside of getting through them last year in the end. And with that, Kyper, I'm talking about roster decisions, and we'll get more into Matthew Nyes. But, last night on the broadcast, I'll give, the other guys some credit. There was a good comment made. I think it was Poulin said, when you dress Nyes, you're playing to win. You're playing to beat the other team as opposed to a more conservative play to not lose sort of mentality. You're saying we're going to take it to Tampa Bay. Same with Liljegren over Shen. Same with stacking lines. I think they can choose to go really aggressive at Tampa Bay or a more conservative, drag it out, penalties, low scoring, low event game. I'm curious to see what they'll choose. I wrote about that, by the way. It's on sportsnet.ca.